Hi everyone, Ravatogh Research Team here. Today we have a theory centered on the Assassin's Festival in Final Fantasy XV. The Assassin's Festival was a huge surprise to fans back when it came out. It seems so random, but it turned out to be a fun and memorable event. But is that really all it is? A fun, random event to fill in the gaps between major updates? Or could there be some deeper meaning to the whole thing that was planned for from very early on in Final Fantasy XV's development?
Can you realize what is true and what's a lie? Then try your hand at the treasure hunt today.
We think the purpose behind the festival was to present some major foreshadowing for events that are yet to come through future updates for Final Fantasy XV. Before we dive too deep into this theory, we need to talk about the Moogle Chocobo Carnival, as we believe it plays a key role in the Assassin Festival's very existence. We plan on making a more in-depth video on it, but a quick summary of our theory for the Moogle Chocobo Carnival is that it is a dream constructed by Carbuncle to give Noctis a moment of solace after the battle with Leviathan, and to give Carbuncle a safe place to give Noctis the Dream Egg. Here is why the Dream Egg is so important. Think about what the egg actually is. It is a key item that was gifted to Noctis in a dream. Yet, it is still in his inventory when he wakes up in the real world. How would Noctis still have the egg when he is awake unless he has some sort of power to make his dreams a reality? Now, we've heard this concept before.
You through your darkest dreams. But remember, Noct, in the world of your dreams, you are king.
Guys, it goes so much deeper though. Here's the official rundown of events of when the Dream Egg hatched. The egg hatched on August 30th, which is Noctis' birthday, and the item that came out of the Dream Egg was Noctis' Master Assassin's robes. It wasn't until the next day, August 31st, that the Assassin's Festival officially began. Now, let's really think about the timeline of events. Why not just give us the robes and start the festival at the same time? Why make us wait until the next day to play the festival? Square's reasoning on this might make more sense if we try to look at it from a different perspective. The Dream Egg, an item pulled from the world of Noctis' dreams into reality, hatched on his birthday. From that egg, we got a very unlikely item, the Assassin's robes. And then it wasn't until the next day that the festival became available to play. Could that delay of a day be because Noct had to fall asleep and have a dream? A dream spurred by the gift of the Master Assassin's robes. What we are trying to get at here, guys, is that, like how the Moogle Chocobo Carnival was a gift of reprieve for Noctis, the Assassin's Festival is his birthday present from Carbuncle. And we think that this gift might actually give Noctis a chance to start changing his fate and the fate of those around him. And the item that would set this change of fate into motion is the False Orders. We'll talk more about the False Orders later on, but right now we're going to talk about when the events of the Assassin's Festival likely take place. Right off the bat, we can definitely place it somewhere between Chapter 5 and Chapter 8 of the main game, because the Empire is occupying Lestall. But at the same time, there are some weird things that happen during the festival that contradict its placement in the timeline. There are enough of these little inconsistencies that we really started to wonder if it was all intentional on the part of the developers. Inconsistency number 1. This whole dream is formed from an item that was received from a dream taking place in Altissia. However, if the Assassin's Festival is indeed taking place sometime between chapters 5 and 8, then the bros haven't even been to Altissia yet. Number 2. Prompto knows the truth about the Magitech troopers and brings the subject up several times throughout the festival.
They bring those troopers to life just to let them die. It's kind of sad, you know?
What's so sad about a bunch of robots getting their circuits fried?
Robots. Right.
What?
Nothing. Just saying you're right. Well,
Now, this is something Prompto doesn't even find out until the events of his DLC episode, which take place through chapters 10 through 12. Number 3. Oddly enough, Prompto has memories of events that took place during the Moogle Chocobo Carnival, even though he wasn't present for them.
That's weird.
what? Were you hoping for another mouthful of happiness?
Perhaps Noctis could have told Prompto about the Moogle Chocobo Carnival, but that still wouldn't make sense timeline-wise if the festival is taking place between chapters 5 and 8, and the Moogle Chocobo Carnival took place after chapter 9. Number 4. Wiz makes a big deal that he brought a fully grown black chocobo to the festival, but there's a quest in the main game where you have to save a black chocobo egg. Wiz makes a point of how extremely rare black chocobos are, and the only black chocobo he has is the chick that you saved. For Wiz to have a fully grown black chocobo at the point of the festival, it just does not make sense. Number 5. The Moogle Chocobo Carnival and Assassin's Festival share a few minigames, and one of them is the Whack-A-Cactuar game. However, here in the festival it is called Whack-A-Cactuar 2. If Moogle Chocobo Carnival takes place during or after Chapter 9, then wouldn't the Carnival's Cactuar game be the second one? All of these little inconsistencies could be intentional hints left by the devs to clue the players in that this is another dream. The concept that the Assassin's Festival is a dream set up by Carbuncle really isn't that far-fetched if you consider that we use Umbra's powers to travel through time via the memories of the astrals. And it's not just Umbra. We also see that Prina has some peculiar powers of her own. So, Prina has some sort of power on the same level of Umbra, and the same can be said for their fellow messenger Carbuncle. And yes, he is outright stated to be a messenger. It is completely possible that we are all underestimating what Carbuncle is truly capable of, and his power seems to be making an item or an event in a dream become a reality through Noctis. So how could Noctis use this festival dream to effect a change on reality? The answer lies within the festival itself. You just need to do the treasure hunt. We believe that the treasure hunt is a cryptic message to Noctis, a message that for some reason can't be told to him outright. But who is trying to get this message across to Noctis? Again, the treasure hunt tells us all the answers. The mysterious individual is none other than Lestall, the hero that saved Lestallum in ancient times. But what if Lestall is not this assassin's real name? There's only one hero that we can think of that saved Lestallum in ancient times. That's right, guys. Lestall could be Arden. Now, something you'll be hearing a lot of in our theory videos is that Arden is not the cold calculating agent of darkness that he parades himself around as, but a hero working in the shadows that for one reason or another can't just reveal his true mission. Lestall's treasure hunt is blatantly trying to drive home this message of read between the lies, to not follow what is being shown to you, but to tread your own path to find the truth. At the start of the hunt, one of the first clues establishes that blue is the color of truth and red is the color of lies, and by following these rules, we end up at the gas station puzzle. What makes the gas station puzzle stand out is that it really seems to contain the core message of the entire festival. To even arrive at the gas station puzzle, first you have to find and follow the blatantly huge arrows pointing straight to the gas station, as if you're being held by the hand. Go here, do this. Not much unlike how Arden and the Astrals hold your hand through your entire quest, making sure you reach the end of it while achieving the results they desire. After making your way to the gas station, you must answer the attendant's questions correctly to progress, and the clues to the answers are tacked to the nearby gas pumps. 2 of the gas pumps are red and the third one is blue. following the rules of the treasure hunt, it would only make sense to ignore the 2 red pumps, as red is the color of lies. And indeed, the red ones are lying, and the blue one is telling the truth. But here's where it gets interesting. Yes, the blue pump is telling the truth, but it's not telling the whole truth. It's holding back a vital piece of information which bars you from moving forward. Ultimately, the solution to this riddle is to find your own answer without the help of the blue pump.
Find the truth amongst the lies. Do you believe a truth within a lie wrapped in a falsehood tinged with truth constitutes a lie? Do you believe lies are evil? Congratulations on solving the riddle. I thought I had you.
So, if we're looking at the treasure hunt as a cryptic message to Noctis from Arden, then how do the blue and 2 red gas pumps translate to Noctis's fate? Think about it like this. The gas pumps represent major players in Noctis's fate: Bahamut, Ifrit, and Arden. Bahamut is blue, Ifrit and Arden are the 2 reds. These 3 individuals play a huge role in shaping history past and present, and both the blue and red sides oppose each other and are pulling for their own agendas, just like how it plays out in the game itself. So remember, red is the color of lies in this riddle, and indeed, that is what we see and are told over and over throughout Final Fantasy XV. Oh, the accursed Arden and Ifrit the Betrayer, they are truly evil, evil incarnate. Or so says Bahamut, the author of the cosmogony and the victor of the astral war. And what is the number 1 rule of war? The victor writes history. Think back to the blue pump. Yeah, it tells us the truth, but it also didn't tell us everything we needed to know. And that is exactly what happens to Noctis through his interactions with Bahamut. All we know through the early parts of Noctis's journey is that we have to get the crystal back to dispel the darkness. And it's not until you are sucked into the crystal itself with no way to get out of it or turn back that then we find out that Noctis is doomed to die. But hold on, Noct's sacrifice is something Bahamut is saying he must do. He's insistent. And he's not lying per se. To use the crystal to such a purifying extent, a life sacrifice must be made. But that's the truth within the lie. That is the blue gas pump's message. Bahamut is holding something back and not telling the whole truth. So here we are. Red is wrong and blue is wrong. So what needs to be done to move forward? You have to find your own answer, your own path, literally. Bahamut's plan to save Eos works, but at what cost? What if there is a path Noctis could take that wouldn't result in his death? Maybe there's even a path that wouldn't result in the death of the people that died for Noctis' sake. Just like one of the clues that led you to the gas station, the one who dares to be different shall lead the way. Your reward for daring to be different is a message telling you to float to the butterfly.
What's the matter?
Wait, are you the one I'm looking for?
Me? Sorry to disappoint, but I'm just here to play the game like you.
Don't try to hide it. I know it's you. What?
Congratulations, you did it.
Wait, we did what now?
You completed the treasure hunt. Now here's your prize.
So we did it. We finished the treasure hunt and got a really cool treasure out of it. All's well that ends well, right? But it's strange that we really had to pressure the butterfly to give up the prize. She tried to lie to us, which seems a little unsettling. We better go ask our buddy Ignis what he thinks about all of this.
Hey, Iggy, check it out! We finished the treasure hunt!
It appears this treasure is only the beginning.
The beginning of what?
Another treasure hunt, it seems. And an even more difficult one at that. Why not have a go? If you're up for the challenge,
I don't really see the point.
then perhaps try relying on something other than your eyes, because what you see isn't always the truth.
Iggy suggests that there is actually more to this quest than meets the eye, and our first clue is to investigate the Pendant of Truth. The entire treasure hunt is turned on its head when you examine the pendant in your inventory and discover that someone has scratched a clue onto the pendant itself. It says purple is the color of lies. Everything we've done in the hunt up to this point has been a lie. Red was lying to us, and blue was full of half-truths. And in the end, it turns out that red isn't the true color of lies. Here's the thing about the color purple. What happens when you mix blue with red? Let's think back to one of the gas attendant's questions.
Do you believe a truth within a lie wrapped in a falsehood tinged with truth constitutes a lie?
A truth within a lie is still a lie, and an even more deceitful one at that. We could rely on red to always be lying to us, but we trusted blue and it only spoke in half-truths. The one we must look out for is the one who mixes their truth with lies, or their blue with red, to create purple. Armed with our new clue, some of the treasure hunt posters now take on a different meaning. Clues on the posters end up leading us to the moon poster, where we find a guard blocking the path forward. He has one final cryptic challenge for us, asking us to prove our worth. Showing him the Pendant of Truth causes him to say we aren't worthy, and he gives us one final clue from Lestall.
But we solved all the riddles. We even have the treasure right here, don't we, Noct?
Yeah, so what gives? What are we missing?
Lestall's final message is so interesting if it is indeed Arden who wrote it. It would prove a number of things. 1. Arden is actually a hero who fights in the shadows, always acting the villain in order to work towards some unspoken objective, an objective he must keep to himself. 2. Despite Arden's best efforts, we've all been dancing to the butterfly, aka Bahamut's tune. 3. A change of fate is still possible if Noctis can see past the deceptions and seek out his own path. We have one other quick point we want to make here about Ifrit. We have been working on translating Ifrit's battle theme, Hellfire. Now, the song is completely in Latin and hasn't been officially translated yet, but some of the words can be made out fairly clearly, and one phrase that is repeated a lot is versus veritas, which means against the truth. This whole idea of opposing the truth is even built into Ifrit's theme song. So clearly at this point we need to re-examine our clues to continue with the hunt. We wouldn't have thought twice about this clue back when we thought that red was the color of lies, but maybe it's time to take it a little more seriously. Following this poster's advice seems a bit extreme. It's outright telling us to sell away our hard-earned prize. Yet at the same time, we now know that red can be trusted. And as it turns out, getting rid of the pendant is the key to opening the path forward. We have one last thought on the Pendant of Truth. Like we did with the gas station puzzle, let's try to relate the pendant puzzle to the main game. In order to move forward and obtain the true goal of the treasure hunt, we had to part with what we thought was our treasure. But what is Noctis' treasure? The very thing he spends nearly his whole journey chasing after. The Ring of the Luci. The ring bearing the image of Bahamut. Think about it. The Pendant of Truth? The first half of the treasure hunt, we were following the truth and ended up winning the Pendant of Truth. If blue was representing truth or Bahamut, which then showed their true colors to be purple, then the pendant of truth could be an analogy for the ring. What if Noct were to part with or reject the ring of the Lucite altogether? He would have no choice but to forge his own path. Now that we've solved the final riddle, Lestall has one last message for us. The line between truth and lies is razor thin. Fact and fiction walk this world hand in hand. Thus it falls to the assassins to discern the truth and dispel the darkness. The town of Lestall is now in your hands. Go forth, young assassin, and become a legend. These final words really feel like a sending off, saying take what you've learned from this and go forge your own path to dispel the darkness. So we've received Lestall's message and taken it to heart, but saying words is easier than taking action. What can Noctis even do to begin changing his fate? Once again, the festival gently guides us in the right direction with one final quest. High up on Lestall's rooftops is a fellow assassin, requesting your help. Unlike the other festival attendants, this guy seems to have a vendetta against the Empire. He immediately recognizes that Noctis might be able to do something about the Imperial occupation.
Finally, a real assassin.
Finally. Look around you. I'm hardly the only one.
But I have no business with those masquerading imposters. Even if you deny it, I can see you for what you really are.
Okay, so what business do you have with the real me?
I need you to take out some troopers. As for how you do it, everything is permitted.
Seems pretty dangerous if you ask me. Why should I?
Nothing is true, so I have no answer, but there's a reward.
Well, I wouldn't mind having more medallions. If you can manage that, I'll take on the job.
A strange request, but if that is what you desire, then so be it. And with that, the contract is made.
After collecting enough Assassin's medals, one of the prizes you can choose is the False Orders. Using the False Orders causes the Empire to retreat from Lestall. Now let's really think about this logically for a second. Where did the festival organizers come across these fake orders, and which one of them decided it would be a good idea to have them be a prize in the prize booth? It's really a rather odd prize. But maybe it's not so odd if you think that those orders could really be Lestall's handiwork. Now, we could be off the mark here for this next tidbit, but if you take a look in Arden's car when you first meet him in Lestall, you'll see that he actually has an official-looking government document on his front seat with his signature on it. Could this document be the False Orders? Who else but Arden fits the bill as a high-ranking Imperial commander with the authority to write up a set of false orders in order to make the Imperial Magitek army leave? Now, it could be argued here that Arden's car is simply used as a copy-paste car in the game, but the red Constellation car is intended to be Arden's car. We thought that this was just too much of a coincidence to not include. If we go back to the assassin on the rooftop after issuing the false orders, a very curious dialogue occurs.
Assassin of legend. I was right to ask you.
Apparently. So, how can you tell me what this is all about?
To put it simply, one could say the Empire's reign has brought stability to our world. But not without sacrifice, I'm afraid. Many innocent lives were lost in the name of the Empire's so-called peace. And now, thanks to you, justice has been served. Now let me fulfill my half of the contract. Your reward is my thanks. You have my thanks. Now my father can... My apologies. Forget I said anything.
The troopers are gone and that guy still looks pretty gloomy. What do you think's got him so down?
Maybe serving justice wasn't enough. The Empire may be out of town, but they're not out of the picture. Instead of taking lives, they're making lives for their robot army. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, pretty sick.
Prompto?
It's nothing. Where to next?
What was that all about, with the assassin suddenly mentioning his father? Other than his vendetta, there was no setup for this dialogue. It just came out of the blue. Why did the devs take the time to include this line from him? It seems really out of place if you just take it at face value. But there's no way it's not important after everything else we've discussed about this festival so far. The festival is all about establishing that Noctis' dreams have power and a way to change fate. So who could this guy be, and who is his father? We have an idea of who they might be. The assassin is Jared's son, Talcot's father. He is never discussed within the game, but with some deduction, it makes a lot of sense. There's only a few father figures in the game, and Jared's death occurred in Lestall at the hands of the Empire. Talcott lives with his grandfather, and he becomes an orphan when Jared passes, which is why he stays with Iris. So it's easy to assume Talcott's parents were already dead before the main game began. The assassin's parting message of, "Now my father can," makes sense if he was going to finish his sentence with, "Rest in peace." He wants vengeance for his father's murder. Through this dream, he has the opportunity to make that wish a reality. But let's take this up one more level here, guys. If this is a dream, then how does killing magic tech troopers and driving the Empire out of Lestall within the dream help the situation in the real world at all? What if what the assassin was actually going to say was, "Now my father can be saved"? Think about it. Now Noctis has the tool that could make saving Jared a reality. The false orders. The false orders, much like the Dream Egg, is the top prize for this festival. While it does serve its intended purpose of driving the Empire out of this dream Lestall, it also remains as a key item in your inventory just like the Dream Egg, and it carries over into the main game. If Noctis could give Holly the false orders before he goes off to make a pact with Titan, Jared's death could be avoided. This is something that could easily be added through a future update. Jared might seem like a very minor, inconsequential character, but we learn in the Comrades DLC that Talcott has inherited his grandfather's notebook. In his book, Jared refers to himself as this scholar of history. Surely, if Jared could have lived longer, he would have served as an invaluable source of information for Noctis. To be honest with you guys, this is what our theories are all about. We think that since the game's launch, almost every update that followed has added intentional layers and breadcrumbs, all with the purpose of setting up some kind of major future release or update. And this update would radically change the plot by providing us, the players, and Noctis, a way to change not only his fate, but the fate of everyone else around him, for the better. The false orders could be just one of the many tools that become available to Noctis in order to change fate. Now, Square has said that they don't have plans to release the Assassin's Festival again in the future, but if they do have a use for the false orders plan, all they would need to do is add the orders as a prize for a different event or update. We're going to finish this theory today with the final scene in the festival.
Thanks, boys. You really saved the day.
Least we could do after getting you involved in all this. You're the real hero. We couldn't have done it without you.
Shucks, it was nothing. I'm just glad Holly made it back right as rain.
Word on the street is the assassins are the ones who sent the Empire packing.
That word should save us a world of hassle.
I can see the headlines. The assassins are out there. Man, at this point, even I want to believe.
Why believe anything if nothing is real? And why not chase every desire you have if everything is allowed? As we say in the Brotherhood, nothing is true. Everything is permitted.
We? I think all that cosplay's gone to your head.
Maybe so. But my time as an assassin taught me to take pride in doing good deeds, even if they go unseen.
Did you notice that isn't Noctis we see perched up on the tower? Noctis is still on the ground watching the fireworks. The mysterious man makes one final leap of faith when an eagle sweeps by and poof, the man disappears into thin air. We've seen this kind of disappearing act before.
Pronto! How long were you in the dark? I feel I've earned the right to call you Noct.
Scanning production code. Unit 05953234 confirmed. Warning. This unit has been compromised.
What's going on?
Initiating retrieval of compromised unit.
She still remembers you after all these years.
You? Huh? What gives?
We can't have you spilling blood here. But fear not. I've no doubt a reunion would refresh your memory. Seek the answers yourself, if you dare.
Did you know that Noctis's final words of "nothing is true, everything is permitted" is the highest truth held by the Brotherhood in the Assassin's Creed series? Their maxim commanded the assassins not to be free, but to be wise. In order for a person to abide by the maxim, they had to transcend the illusion which is the world, and to recognize that laws do not arise from divinity, but reason. Bahamut, the crystal, and Noctis sacrificing himself is divinity's path, and reason is another possible path not yet walked by Noctis. So that's it for us today. We really hope that you enjoyed watching. If you did, please consider leaving a like or even subscribing. We'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. More theory videos will be out soon. Thanks for watching.